Okay, this video is intended for those of you that want just a quick reference way on how to quickly graph a logarithm or logarithmic function. You should be learning in class that logarithms are the inverse of exponential functions. And so what that means is when you learned exponential growth and decay, the graphs that sort of looked like this, that what's going to happen is the x's and y's are going to switch places. And in essence, that's going to take that graph that you just saw and sort of flip it this way. So this is the basic layout for what a logarithmic growth graph is going to look like. And it could also be a logarithmic decay, which instead would look like this. But the main things to note is that they have an intercept at 1, 0 to begin with, and they have a vertical asymptote instead of a horizontal asymptote. And that vertical asymptote begins on the y-axis. It can move if there are transformations, but that's going to be another video. So today we're just going to do the basics. So how do you know exactly how the slope is going to look depending on the base? Well, I'm going to do a couple of different parent functions for you to get to see. So let's start with something like log base 3 of x. If you're asked to graph this, the easiest way is to start with the fact that you know the basic layout, kind of like what I just mentioned, such that there will be a intercept at 1, 0, and the vertical asymptote will be here on the y-axis. Now from here, you have to know exactly how the slope is going to be on this graph. And the way to do it, or the way I do it, is actually pretty dang easy. I just look at this base, and that's actually how many I go over from the asymptote. So I'm going to go 3 away, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go up 1. And that's it, guys. That is your graph. And I'll do this one right below it, if instead it had been a 1/3 log base 1/3 of x, on a graph like this, I still would have started with the same asymptote. I still would have started with it crossing at 1, 0, and I still would have counted over 3. The difference is I would have counted over 3 and gone down 1. Now, why would I have gone over 3 and down 1 instead? Well, because this base is 1/3. It's less than 1, which means it's going to be a logarithmic decay graph. Okay, and those have this shape. So if you can just know, like what I said in the beginning, just commit this to memory. If it's going to be a logarithmic growth, it's going to look like this. If it's going to be a logarithmic decay, it's going to look like this. And if you know the difference between these, this is when your base is greater than 1. This is when your base is between 0 and 1. If you have this general shape in mind, you'll be able to graph anything just by changing how far over you count and whether you go up 1 or down 1. It's really that simple. So in future videos, I will do transformations so that you can see how those work. Thank you.